Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast, now with the Digitant Network. How's it going, guys? Hope you're having an amazing week. Before we get started, wrap your head around silks. Lots of stuff. Roll it out. Every Monday and Thursday, we hit the mat together and foam roll. We'd love to have you. I have a free mini course, a beginner to intermediate comprehensive course, aerial rehab, if you're coming back from surgery, injury, or having a baby, and then also teacher training. And then I'm cooking up some retreat stuff. And then I'm also cooking up maybe some performer training. So I'm so excited to work with you. Please check it out there. All right, today we have Athena Barbeito. She is the owner of I Love Pilates in the Inland Empire here in Southern California. She is a friend of mine. We did a show together about 7 years ago. And since then, she's had 2 kids. She's got a 4-year-old and an under 1-year-old. And she opened her studio when she was pregnant. So we talk about prenatal Pilates. We talk about balancing the life work situation. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear this. Let's get started. So I was just thinking about this and I couldn't figure it out. So Athena and I were in a show together, and since then our lives have drastically changed.
Yes, it did.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but it doesn't, but in a way it does, because our lives were so different. Like, we, as the dancers, we decided to like get adjoining rooms, and there are 2 dancers per room, and we had a slumber party basically for 3 days.
It was so much fun. Like, we had a blast. Like, and then you, because your daughter, she's 4, right?
Yeah.
So I remember you and I and Val, we all it at the same time.
Yeah, our lives have changed so much. And since then, you were always doing Pilates, but now you have your own. Do you have your own studio now?
I do. I opened up my own studio last May. So I'm coming up to a year in about 2 months.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So there's so much to talk about. That is a lot. That's a lot.
And then that's when I went through my journey, because I didn't even think I was going to teach Pilates. I was just like, I just wanted to get to know a little bit more about Pilates, get more knowledgeable about it, because I started Pilates when I was 10.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started Pilates back in 1999.
Was there a reason? Were you dealing with an injury or something? Is that why?
No, actually, it was like when I was 10 years old, and this was like the first dance studio that I was like competitive with, and my ballet teacher at that time, he was, telling my mom, hey, Athena should do Pilates, because that was the time that year I went on point. And he was like, okay, she needs to strengthen her ankles. Like, I was really petite. And so he was like, the best thing for her to do is Pilates. So my mom just threw me into a Pilates, private. And I had no idea what I was doing. I saw the machine, I saw the reformer. And I don't know if you ever remember, but do you remember that Pro Arch where you stick your foot in and it stretches? It's like this little machine that stretches your foot.
Oh yeah.
They used to sell it at dance stores, at Discount Dance Supply and all that. Well, anyway, so my mom is the one who actually kind of introduced me to Pilates, started my my journey. So then it started off once a week I would do Pilates, and I just continued that through my adolescent years. And then after I graduated high school, and then going into LA, going into our professional career, I continued with Pilates. It was just something that I always did. And then my mentor at that time, Sharmila Mitra, she's the owner of Core Arts Pilates. She used to have a studio in West Hollywood, but then she ended up just keeping the one in South Orange County. And she was like, hey, Athena, I'm doing teachers training. Do you want to learn about it more? Because I was always there every week. At least I would go at least twice or 2 to 3 times a week, and just doing private, sometimes groups, no more than 4 people, because back then it was just boutique studios, just no more than 4 people in a class. So, because I did classical, so there's a difference between classical and then more contemporary style. So I was like, sure, okay, but I'm never gonna teach Pilates. And she's like, no, Athena, don't say that. She's like, just let's do it, and you never know. So I was like, okay, whatever. And that's when I just I finished the program, and then I started my journey in 2017 is when I actually started teaching Pilates. And then that's where I am now. And I just like kind of fell in love with it. And I started drifting that way.
So this population, Athena, we are a bunch of aerialists all over the world, either hobbyist or professional, and kind of coming together to figure out how to navigate movement and training during pregnancy because there's so little guidance.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few studies. So it's more about how to talk to our doctors, what to do, what to know, like how to deal with your own body.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a Pilates trainer myself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know I've been certified since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, but currently my reformer is in storage because we don't have enough space for it at this apartment
You
in
know what's
LA.
so funny is that I was like talking about it the other day. I'm like, where do people fit their reformers?
I
Like,
know.
I never had a reform. I never did. And I was like, because I never had space for it. I'm like, where would I put it? Like, I'm like in my garage.
In the hallway? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know where people, I'm like, where do you put it? Like, that's where I'm like, how do people have reformers at home?
well, and after I got my training, I worked a little bit at Equinox and a couple different boutiques, but then
Yeah.
I just got busy and I just bought a reformer and I would train out of my apartment.
Yeah,
It's currently in storage, but so for our women out there who have either, it's a large population, so either they've tried Pilates or they haven't. Let's talk about what we can do to potentially minimize diastasis recti, what we can do to zip it back together after, pelvic floor dysfunction, anywhere you want to start, and then I can jump in. And I might mute myself because she's going to start talking to me.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. When I went through the training, I wasn't pregnant. And when you learn about like movements for pregnant women, there wasn't a lot of information. It's like it's just very general. Like, okay, you got to use the wedge. Pregnant women can't be flat; they have to be slightly lifted. So I remember going through that. I never, someone that was pregnant. I never had a kid at this time. It was
By the way,
really
Athena, in my book, I did. Oh my God, what was it called? Do you know Maria Leone? Bodyline.
Oh yes.
She was my trainer, and in the book that we used, there was one page on pregnancy contraindications. That's it. So
Same here.
Yeah.
There's not really that much like studies on it, or what are the the limits of a pregnant woman, and at the end of the day everyone is so different. So thankfully but before I even got pregnant, I really didn't see a lot of pregnant people. It wasn't as popular because back, you got certified, like, and you said 2007. Well, when I finished getting certified 2017, it wasn't something that was still mainstream yet, with pregnant women coming in to take Pilates. It was still kind of like, I feel like almost like an underground thing. Like it was just somebody who's been doing it, like another pregnant woman, another friend that ends up telling another woman to do it. So when I ended up getting pregnant, and obviously like Pilates has always just been my go-to. So when I got pregnant, and I learned so much on myself because I didn't really have that much information either. So especially like when you get pregnant, what starts to happen? Your abs start to separate. So in the process of that, sometimes they would, I've even heard even like some videos that I would look at, they were like, oh, by the second trimester, a pregnant woman is able to curl up, curling that head, neck, and shoulder. And I remember when I was pregnant going into my second trimester, just curling myself up, it would put so much pressure on my stomach, like I would literally feel my abs like pulling. They're already pulling apart. I don't know if you felt that experience. So I just learned through my pregnancy what was acceptable and like something like where you had to steer away from. So I pretty much would write things down and learn everything on my own. So, as time went on with my pregnancy, especially like pelvic floor muscle, that was something that I always focused on. I did a lot of like clam work, a lot of bridging, using the ball to really squeeze so I can activate inner thigh muscles, pelvic floor muscles, because by the time you get into your second trimester, you have to be flat. By even just lifting your legs up, yeah, you're already feeling your abs, but you start being limited. Now, I found the best way to activate your powerhouse, your core, your transverse abs, is planking. Planking was always like the best thing I did throughout my entire pregnancy, even before I had my son and my daughter. Like that is like one of the best ways to still engage your core, to work on your core, being pregnant. But I never learned that. There wasn't any information on that. But it was through my journey is where when I started working with pregnant people, which is weird. After I had my son, I started working with more pregnant people, pregnant women, and then even having my daughter opening up my studio, I have pregnant women, and I would guide them through my knowledge, through what I've learned. And all of that is just really important, especially like having your kid, your abs already separated. How do you get everything to come back? How do you try to stay away from surgery? Is To me, I found Pilates just the way to go because it's so soft, so gentle. It's very low impact, but it really helps you activate those deeper muscles. And with pregnancy, that's where I learned how to be. What I felt is what I give my clients, my members. And a lot of times I even have somebody that was telling me they read in a book where even in a second trimester, which is everyone is so different too, and each pregnancy is different, is where you can curl up. You can curl up and still do ab work, like crunching. And I was like, what? Who said that? Like, what study was on that? Because from my experience, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how you felt. Like when I would curl up and lift my legs up in tabletop, it just put too much pressure. Like you felt like your abs really ripping away from each other. I don't know if you felt that, but
I was not in my like fantasy of a pregnancy because about 20 weeks in or sooner than that, they
yeah.
realized that I have a low-lying placenta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So you have it, yeah.
yeah, that meant I was on pelvic rest. And
Oh,
so I kind of knew the question that I was asking was so silly, but I showed my OBGYN a video of me doing a straddle up. I was like, "Do you think I could still do this and be on pelvic rest?" And she goes, "I don't know anything about that movement, but are you using your pelvis?" I was like, "Yes, I'm using. That is the
that is
engine
the whole,
of the
yeah.
of this movement."
And yeah, and yeah, and it's a tough question. Like it's just like even if you talk to your doctors, like it's also personal. um it's just all personal how you're feeling, if it does bother you, if something is hurting. And like I said, every pregnancy is just so different. So when the one thing that I did learn about pregnancy is you have to, obviously the main thing is keeping that woman safe, you know but it's like, there's some women too that, how do you also challenge them,
Yes.
even though and that's where, like, I talk to my clients, especially, how they're feeling, just like what muscles are you feeling, how is your stomach feeling, how is your back, like I do ask those questions. But again, I always go from what I felt through my whole journey. And I did through my journey through my son and my daughter, and both were very different. But certain movements was still the same. Things I was able to do, things I wasn't able to do. Um and like and so the main thing is that, like, when I have like when I have pregnant women, when I try to get them to engage core, I make them do planks. I don't have them be like curling up. It's too much on the stomach. Um, I make them planks is like the number one way, or even tabletop. But even lifting your legs up to tabletop, there's times like by the end of your second trimester, going into your third trimester, it starts to really pull towards like your pelvic area. And then, if you're already starting to slightly dilate, like you feel your vagina. So a lot of times, like, I'm like, there are other ways for pregnant women to engage their core. And then there's other movements, especially like when you're pregnant. I found I would tell women, please don't come and take my stretch class, because your ligaments, they're already stretching, they're becoming loose. So a lot of times, what was a misinformation, a lot of other studios that I would work at once I when I got my certification, and then I got pregnant, and then I was teaching at like just local studios where I was living. They were telling pregnant women, take stretch classes. And when I got pregnant and I started going through and I started feeling the difference of my body, I'm like, you need to stay away from deep stretching, because you can pull your muscles. Your ligaments are already pulling and stretching out. You got to do the opposite. You got to be strengthening your muscles. You got to be strengthening your core, like your transverse that's connected to your spine, your hips, and your glutes. The best way to do that is plank movements. And how are you deepening your abs, pelvic floor muscles, hip muscle? Because when you're going into labor, you got to engage all those muscles to help you push the baby out, whether you're doing epidural or no epidural. So they were, but some studios that I was working at, they were telling pregnant women, oh yeah, stretching class is the best, stretching class is the best. And I would be like, no, I would turn women away. I was like, you need to strengthen your muscles. You need to take actual reformer classes, because there's different type of style classes when you start going to studios. That's why you have to be, when you're taking classes, especially for pregnant women, like, what classes are you taking? You can't just walk into any class. It has to be a specific class. So an actual traditional Pilates class is what you need to take. You got to stay away from that stretching. So I never learned that. I learned that because of my own experience with my two pregnancies. It's kind of crazy.
Do you think that they said that because it was, like, air quotes, more gentle?
More gentle. And when people think, oh, for a pregnant woman, is this, oh, stretching is safe, it's easy,
Right.
they're not really doing anything. But that's the opposite that you want to do. You don't want to overstretch. It hurts. It really does hurt. Like you especially like your inner hip, your hamstrings, the back of your knees. You feel your ligaments like just getting pulled, and it makes it worse. That's why I'm like, I think it's just like just like a general,
Yeah.
thinking that, oh, pregnant women, oh, just stretch, take it easy. So that's where I was like, no, because I was a pregnant woman that, came from, dancing background, and, someone that was really involved in the Pilates world. That was like that was like my main, like, cross training, especially while I was dancing, especially professionally dancing. That was, when you're auditioning all the time, you don't really have time to train. What was my thing? Pilates. So I learned all of that on my own. I'm like, no, I wanted something to be challenging as well. I still wanted to work my body, and I didn't want people to take, like, I didn't want, just because I'm pregnant, for you to take it easy on me. I still wanted that challenge. But when you're even an instructor that there wasn't that much information, and you haven't gone through the experience of being pregnant, you don't know. You're like, oh, just don't do this, just stay flat. Or oh, don't, just move your arms, do some weights. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like that. You kind of steer away somebody who's pregnant that really wants that challenge and really wants to work on strengthening their muscles before pregnancy. Somebody who maybe doesn't have that kind of knowledge. So that's all through my own experience that I've learned. And I would always be like, nope, please don't come and take a stretch class. So with my own studio, when I, training my own instructors that I have at the studio, and then just from my own experience and having members coming in, I direct them. I'm like, stay away. Like, you're already in the second trimester. Nope. Stick to your reformer classes. Even bar classes is a great class because you're really working hip muscles. You're working your glutes. You're working pelvic floor, inner thigh muscles. So I feel like through my own experience, that's how I gained the knowledge of postpartum and before baby. So I do wish there was more information, but there really isn't.
I definitely feel like for most of the trainers I know, it's just the years of experience.
Yep.
The amount, like, obviously makes it very different if you've been pregnant yourself. I struggled with that before I was pregnant because I had pregnant clients before I was pregnant. And so I just had to be really attentive to them and what they said things were feeling. I also, you talk about planks, and that is definitely something that is, like, if you go on the internet, there's so much competing info about that. And you're like, well, which one is it? And I really believe no matter what the exercise, it's how you're drawing your abs. Because if you're just like creating a lot of abdominal pressure, but not really engaging and not really doing it with form, almost any exercise could injure you, even if you're not pregnant.
Exactly. And that's why, when I opened up my studio, and the main thing, like my beginner classes, like, and even like intro classes that we have at the studio for especially like, people that never ever tried Pilates, the main thing I always talk about before I even get the class going, is how are you engaging your abs when you're breathing? So when you're inhaling, I always say when you're inhaling through the nose, you got to suck it in. Then when you're exhaling through your mouth, you have to suck it in even deeper. So when you're deepening those abs completely while you are breathing, that's how you are going to engage the abs underneath your shallow abs. So your transverse abs. Then I explain to them, that is the mind and body connections, the center of your body. How you are engaging your core is going to make the difference on your everyday activity. So where you're right, even with your planks, you can arch the back, you can put too much pressure, you're tilting your pelvis. If you're not having the form correct, anything that you do, you can injure yourself, even in a Pilates class. So that's where, the main thing is that it's experience from in Pilates instructors. How are you connecting with your clients? How are you teaching your class? Are you teaching them how to really engage your core? Because Pilates is all about, we always say you're working proximal to distal, from the center then outwards. It's all about the center of your body. So are you really teaching that, or or are you just giving a class that, you just want people to, you just want them to feel their booty burn, their thighs burn. So which a lot of times the public, they want to feel the burn, they want that intensity, but at the same time, it's also teaching them, giving them the knowledge of how to also use your muscles correctly, form, body awareness, muscle awareness. So how do you incorporate all that? And I think, it's all about experience. So even before I got pregnant, and if I randomly would have someone that was pregnant, it's just through experience. And then I think also our dancing background was like, it really like taught that with my dance background really helped me with my Pilates career, because we learned all that in dance, especially ballet class. Your pelvis, are you sticking your butt out? Are you tucking? You don't want to tuck. So that's where you start gripping hip flexor muscles, tensing up your quadriceps. So I learned all of that through injuries. So when I, through my dancing, and then that's how, and again, Pilates was another way how I recovered through injuries through dance. So it's just all through experience. So who you have as an instructor is really important too. Like, what is their background? So even if some, like So when you are working with a client that is pregnant or not pregnant, it's always the instructor. What is their experience? Are they able to help you achieve what you're looking for?
Athena, let's go to you, because I think this also kind of weaves back into the conversation about, because all our own body experience, it goes into our
Yeah.
fitness practice as well. So the first and the second, talk to me about the prenatal and the postpartum. If you had a C-section, I don't know any of this stuff for you.
Yeah. So with both of my kids, it was vaginal. Um, and I did have the epidural on both kids. Um, well, the first with my son, I try to do it natural. But once I felt those contractions, I was like, give me the epidural. Because they would ask me, do you want the epidural? I'm like, I don't know. This is my first. I have no idea. They're like, I was like, what do you think? And the nurse will be like, I don't know. We can wait. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then when I felt that first contraction, no, I died. It was one of it was one of the worst experiences of my life. Like, no, it was so bad. I ended up getting the epidural, and luckily with my son, 3 pushes. And I kid you not, um th- I do believe, like, literally through my pregnancy, I did Pilates, and I really believe that my pelvic floor muscles were really strong. And my son came out quickly, and I was so numb. I was like, am I pushing? And the doctor was like, yeah, he's coming. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. But my experience, you know, during my pregnancy, I did have a lot of morning sickness. I should call it all day sickness. So it was really hard for me to go to work, and then, take my time to kind of like work out. But I really made that, like, I made sure I went to the gym, and and my grandparents, I stayed with my grandparents a lot during my first pregnancy, and their apartments in Irvine, they have a Pilates studio. So I would just use their Pilates studio downstairs, and I would, like, work myself out at all the time. And my pregnancy with my son was the hard because of the sickness. And I had that throughout the whole 9 months. But other than
What is
that,
that called?
I call it, they say morning sickness, but it's all day sickness.
No, but there's another word for it if it's throughout the
Yeah.
entire pregnancy.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God, who's famous for that? Is there's a comedian, she talks about it all the time. Ugh, anyways, there's a name for it.
I didn't know. No, I would tell my doctors all the time. I'm like, it's not morning sickness. It's all day sickness. What is this? And they were like, oh, it's just morning sickness. It will go away. It will go away. And I'm like, no, it has not gone away. It was the whole 9 months. I don't know how I functioned. I was still working. I was teaching Pilates. I would go at like 5 a.m. Then from there, I was also teaching dance. So I would go and teach dance, and I would go to dance competitions. I don't know how I did it.
How many hours did you work, like, during that time?
So I was teaching at a competitive dance studio. So I ended up working at one dance studio at this time. It was in Irvine. And then I was teaching there like 3 to 4 times a week. And I would teach 5 a.m. classes. So I won't forget, like, my Wednesdays, I would teach like a 5 a.m. until a 9:30 a.m. And then from there, I would stop because this time it was in Riverside. So then my mom was in Corona. I would stop at my mom's to, like, kind of like gather myself. I would cry because I did not feel well. Yeah. Like, you can do it. Then from there, I would go to teach at the dance studio in Irvine, okay, in Irvine, Orange County, which is like 40 minutes from Corona. I would drive from Corona 40 minutes to Irvine to teach dance by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I would be there until almost 9 o'clock at night. So, and yeah, that was like my Mondays, my Wednesdays, and my Fridays. And then weekends at competition. Yeah.
So looking back,
yeah.
do you feel like, because you're going to feel sick anyway, was it better that you were busy?
Yeah.
Okay. Because then you would have been at home and been like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah, it kept my mind like off of it. And on top, I was dancing too, and I was moving. Dance is always going to be my first love. So I was just always moving, and I love dance. And I was like, working with kids. I love working with kids. So all the girls that I was teaching dance with, they were so like they loved it so much. So that's just it kept me going. And then I had my son. I went back into teaching dance. Kid you not, 8 weeks after having my son. Um, but then after, because I took a break from teaching Pilates for like a year, and then after having my son was like about a year and a half. I went back into teaching Pilates here in Rancho. So this was like during like kind of like the pandemic. I think this was like at 2021 is when I got back into it. I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter, and that's when my husband had the craziest idea of like, hey, why don't we open up our own Pilates studio? And I was like, but I'm pregnant with our daughter. And I ended up opening up a Pilates studio while I was pregnant. Um, we opened up in May, and then I had my daughter in July, and then I went back to teaching at the studio again and running the business. I went back in October of last year.
Your husband, is he in the Pilates world too? Or is he
No,
just wanting to support you and your
no,
dreams?
he wanted to. So yeah, no, he is not. Like it was funny because like when I met my husband, like he knew I was all about Pilates and dance, and he would always say, "Oh, you're like a Pilates girl." Everyone knew. Oh, Athena's got Pilates. Athena's got Pilates. So it was super random. Like at the end of 2022, my husband was just like I remember I just came home one day, and I don't know, like I just was kind of like, Mikey, I wanted, I don't know, I want to do something more. Like I just feel like I'm ready for something. And I always talked to him about I always wanted to do like my own Pilates, like have my own Pilates studio. And he kind of my husband is like he's kind of like an entrepreneur. So he was like, okay, well, how would your business plan be? And I didn't know he was interviewing me. So I told him how I would run the studio, what my business plan would be. And then a month later, in January of 2023, he was like, hey, are you serious? Because let's go for it. And I was like, while I'm pregnant, why don't we wait? He's like, no, the time is now. So we ended up opening up a Pilates studio with our business partner. His name is Thomas. And I Love My Pilates ended up happening while I was pregnant. So yeah, it was one of the craziest experiences. And but I love it, I'm happy. I'm really happy because this is like what I love. And I feel like from my experience of um, just incorporating Pilates in my everyday life, I just wanted to share that. And here I am.
And so the balancing act of the two kids plus a studio,
Oh,
can you give us a day in the life?
oh yeah. So you know, when I had my daughter, balancing the two kids, I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to balance that. I think the hard part, like, I wake up, thankfully my husband gets my son ready to take him to school because my son does go to school. He's in pre-K. And we wake up, feed my son breakfast. My daughter still sleeps until like 8:30. um and then I'm checking email. The moment I wake up, I'm already looking at emails, checking the schedule, uh, reading members because we have like our app. We have our own app. So we have like members that message us through the app too. So I have to check emails through the app system. I'm looking at the classes for the day. How is that going? I check in on the cameras to make sure, okay, classes are going, everything looks smooth. Then from there, my daughter wakes up. I do breastfeed and I pump too. So I get my daughter up, I change her diaper, I'm pumping now. I'll answer phone calls sometimes while I'm pumping, and then pick up my son from school. I'll drive to the studio, make sure that we got our toe socks, make sure everything is in order. The days that, and then I do teach too. So the days that I teach, my mom helps me out. I have my mother-in-law I have to like coordinate my time. Obviously, we were like, how many times we had to reschedule.
Oh, me
Uh,
and Athena, it was a epic journey to schedule this.
oh my God. Oh
Both you and
yeah.
me.
Yeah, and my kids got sick. Oh, and I got really sick too. That's another thing. The moment my son gets sick, forget about it.
Forget it. The whole family.
Oh my gosh, like we couldn't get rid of the sickness, but at the same time, like I'm working. It's like it's nonstop. I'm telling it's 24/7 running your business. But I love it. I love it. I'm happy. I love going to the studio and teaching. So I'm not just running the business, I'm also teaching. And that is like the best part is where I love going in and being an instructor. So I feel like that's where I get all the love and joy and seeing members enjoying it. And the hard part is, working at home because you have two kids. That's where I like struggle at times is my daughter now, she's only 7 months. Then I have a 4-year-old. So all of that, yeah, it's definitely hard. And then, it's my self-care. I do go to the studio and I do work myself out. So, getting my workout in has been a journey. And this time around with my son, it took me a year to feel my abs again, to feel my core. With my daughter, it didn't take so long. I started feeling my abs again. Let me see. I started working out again by 8 weeks. So by 12 weeks, by 12 weeks of, so 8 weeks is when I started working out. So then like by the time 8 weeks, 9, 10, 11. So like a month of me working out, a month and a half, actually, a month and a half, 2 months of me working out, I started feeling my abs again, and my flexibility came in a lot quicker than it did with my son. I couldn't do a back bend. I kid you not, Carrie. It took me a year to be able to just go into a back bend. Like my son, my husband would have to spot me to go into a bridge. With my daughter, like literally in like 2-3 months, I was able to gain my back flexibility isn't the best yet because I got the epidural, so my back is really stiff. So, but I'm able to do a back bend by myself with no support, with no spotting. So, this pregnancy around the postpartum has been a lot easier, getting myself back into moving, feeling my core again, feeling just getting my spine, my flexibility again. It's a lot smoother this time around than with my first, which is weird, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you 40 yet?
No, I'm 33.
Why do I think, Athena,
Yeah.
I'm so much older than you? And it's like,
But you don't look that. You
I know,
literally
I realize this.
so young. You look like you're 20, like barely 25. Okay.
But okay, so listen, the last couple dance gigs I did,
Yeah.
I just never mentioned my age because I think casting directors, even though they don't do it consciously, there's a subconscious thing going on.
Yeah.
Because I'm turning 47 in May.
What? You're lying.
No, because I was already 40. I was like 39 or 40 when I worked with you.
Oh my God. Be quiet, girl. You look amazing.
Yeah,
Look at your skin. You look barely 25.
Thank you. I definitely like am way too immature to be 50 almost.
I thought you were like my age.
I know everybody does. It's a great thing.
Oh my!
And you should see my partner. He has this like perfect porcelain black skin, and he's about to be 48, and he's like
what?
Perfect. He's
your
perfect.
Skin? Oh my! Well, your daughter's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful
she is
right there.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh.
I thought no, you know what? I knew you're way younger than me. It doesn't like comprehend because like when you're in like a cast of all these people, the ages are all over the place. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Exactly. Me and Val are the same.
Okay.
Ish. I'm like, me and Val she might be 4 years younger than me, but like we kind of grew up in the same time frame in the industry. Our friend Valerie, who also has a kid our age. So Athena, just from like a studio geeking out mode, like how many teachers do you have?
I have 3 instructors, and then including me is 4.
And how big is the studio? Like, how many reformers? How many machines do you have?
We have 6 stations. So I have reformers, 6 reformers. We have towers, 6 towers, and 6 chairs. So we're fully equipped. So we have each station has like a reformer, a chair, their mat, and their tower with like the rollback bar, the push through bar. So it's kind of like, think of like the Cadillac, but just the tower
Yes,
center.
yes. So,
And
I mean,
yeah.
what was that? Like a $30,000 investment ish?
What? Oh no. Just the like what like just the equipment alone, just the equipment was about 90,000.
Where did I come up with 30,000? I just
I
threw it
don't know.
out.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I really wish. No, you know what's funny too is that when my husband and our business partner Thomas, when they were like, okay, we're gonna do a Pilates studio, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not just gonna buy whatever equipment. I'm like, I want like the best. And we have classical equipment. Like I went, even though I'm like, I we consider myself like the studio like a hybrid because we have classical equipment, but we teach like it's not, we don't follow the classical order. So we have like the Bosu, I have like the TRX, we have like hand weight. So I have different style of classes, but my equipment is where it's like I definitely
What
like.
brand is it? Now I'm geeking out on your
Yeah.
Pilates equipment. What brand are we?
Well, originally, I wanted to do grots, everything grots,
Oh,
but
old school.
yeah, but they was gonna take about 36 months to get to me. And I'm like, no, I got 2 months. I was like, I got 2 months to get the studio up and running with everything. So I ended up doing Balance Body has a Contrology line. And the Contrology line is classical. So it's kind of like it's not grot, but they follow like all the dimensions and everything of Joseph Pilates. So
Oh, so you guys have like the spring system, like everything is like
everything. It's like, yeah, everything is just like literally it looks like grots, but it's by Balance Body. And
oh, that's why it's more expensive because
yeah,
you're not just getting like their studio reformer, like
mm,
regular studio
I'm
reformer.
getting their Contrology line. So that's why it was a lot, but it's beautiful. Like you literally like touch, like your fingers touch the mat. You can feel like how your body just like melts into it. It just, oh, I love it so much. Like, and the nice thing about these Contrology reformers too is that when you're going into like elephant on the carriage, well, where the shoulder blocks are, it has like a little dip where you can place
Uh-huh.
heels into it. Oh, I love it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Grotz doesn't do that with their equipment, but no, I'm obsessed. So I ended up telling like my husband and my business partner, I was like, okay, we're going full out then. Like this is what I want. I want quality. So because here in the IE, there is like one classical studio, but which is they're all grots, but they're very small and boutique, which is like they only do like private lessons or duets, no more than 4 people. So I wanted to do like a membership based studio, and so that's why I have more equipment, and I just wanted to be also affordable for the public because like that's something like Pilates is expensive, so I want to be affordable but also have good quality equipment apparatuses. So I ended up doing it and I'm really happy about it because that was something that I would wanted, while I was like training and stuff like that, is just be able to do maybe more group classes,
Yeah.
but that's affordable. I just remember I would spend all my money on Pilates. It was so
Oh
expensive.
my goodness. Listeners out there, if you are thinking of putting up a Pilates studio anywhere you live, maybe, reach out to Athena. She probably has a lot of knowledge on this stuff.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot through the whole process, but definitely it's something, the experience, I will never take it away. So it's just, especially like being pregnant, from that experience and opening up my business, I just believe that we can do it all. Women can do it. Like whatever you want to do, you can. And I've had some like negative reviews too. I won't forget there was this one woman that she was like 18, 19 years old though. She was like, but you're pregnant. How are you going to do it? And I was like, honey, you know, just because you're pregnant doesn't mean you're crippled. You can do it if you want to. You just have to put in the work. And here I am. And you just have to have a huge support system. But,
Athena, I'm so glad we made this happen. It's so
yeah,
great to catch up with you.
I know. And listen, if you're ever in the area, like, come check me out. We're
Oh
in
my
Rancho
goodness.
Cucamonga. Like, come see it. You will love it. Like, you'll geek out in there. Like, if you'll know, like any Pilates instructor, when you see equipment, you're like, okay, yes, this
Yeah.
is this.
I don't know what it is about Pilates instructors. When we see a good equipment, it's like sexy. It's like
It is.
it's like it's like being a car dude and you're like
Yeah.
with cool cars.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the difference. Like, I don't know about cars when you say like, what's it called? Like 22 wheels, inch wheel. I don't know. I'm like, whatever. I don't geek out on that. But when I go to Pilates studios, like, you just know, I get excited when I see good equipment. So yeah, whenever you're in the area, Carrie, and I know I live far, but if you're ever out here or you want to even take a Pilates class, like let me know. Come check it out.
Oh, so sweet.
My doors are open.
I love this. And I love that we're both moms now. The years
Yeah.
have gone past, but it's like it's time has not gone past. It's
It
amazing.
hasn't. It's and we actually did another when the lights go out. Like,
That's right. During the
we did
pandemic.
during the pandemic, and me, that was like the first time, and Val's first time and my first time dancing since having our first.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I threw up. My first rehearsal with Jason, like, oh my gosh. I mean, he told me, he's like Val too, but we did it. And I think like after that experience, I was like, okay, like I can, if I wanted to get back into like dancing, I was like, you can do it. You can, like, we can do it. It's just crazy what your body goes through. But if if you take care of it and do a lot of self-love, like, you can get back into it. Like, you really can.
Well, also Jason Young, you guys, he's a choreographer. He choreographed for Madonna. He right now choreographing for Carrie Underwood. His stuff is like, he wants you to be full out every single time, and you're like, what is this rehearsal?
Yeah, no. And I told him, I was like, Jason, I was like, I don't know if you remember, this is my first time in it. He's like, and it's like, it's okay, but like, you better do a full out. I am telling you, I was like, okay, I gotta go run to the restroom. I won't forget. I ran into the restroom. I threw up. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to do it another time, full out. I was like, but honestly, I love it. Like, I think like, if, that's just the way it is. He's so old school when it comes to that. And it was just, he really pushed me. And from that, after that rehearsal, I was like, okay, I'm fine. Here comes the show. How many shows we did? We did like 2-3 shows in a week. Like, and we did it for a couple weeks, and it was, it was fine. You just have to get through that little hump,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Maybe, hopefully, we'll do it again. But
he's just so passionate. He's like yelling at you while he's counting,
yes.
right? And he's not yelling at you. He's yelling with it.
Yes, he's so passionate. That's what I'm saying. And because of that passion and that energy that you feel from him, that's what like makes you like. It pushes you even more to be full out. So no, it was a great. It was awesome getting to like do it again and dance again. And that's where I'm like, I need to do it again. I need to dance again. But the moment I was like, okay, I'm going to start dancing again, I got pregnant with my daughter.
There's always time. I always say, like, once a dancer, always a dancer. You can decide to go back to it anytime.
Exactly. It's always there. It's always there. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Athena, for your time. I love this.
Carrie, thank you so much for having me. And your daughter is so beautiful and you look amazing. And thank you for like hitting me up. And like, again, if you ever want to talk about Pilates again, or you want to come check out the studio, like, let me know. Like, my doors are open for you.
I love it. Okay. Mwah. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Athena. We like went through a journey just to schedule our appointment. between her kids getting sick and mine having things. So we did it. And I'm so glad to have had you on. My friends, if you'd please honor me with a 5-star rating and review, it means so much. If you think you'd be an amazing guest or you know somebody, please reach out at CarrieWe1 on Instagram. I check my DMs a little too much. So always you can reach me there. And yeah, if you'd like to check out Greener Grass, the podcast I do with Kelly McVeigh, we talk about so much stuff and it's fun. It's really light. It's a good time. All right, people. Thank you so much for being here. It's Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Selves. This is the Expecting Airlist.